And good evening, folks, and welcome to our continuing coverage of the 9th annual Super Smash TV tournament here on GG Speedruns. Tonight, we've got a treat for you because we've got a doubleheader. That is right. You've got two matches for the price of one tonight here on GG Speedruns. Starting with our first opening matchup in the second round of the winner's bracket, we have got the number 8 seed, TheRealZ3ro, taking on the number 9 seed, Prince Leaf. Hi, everyone. I'm LZ Cards Fan 23, and joining me on the commentary tonight, longtime veteran of this game, Aquas. As always, great to have you here in the commentator's booth, and again, great to have you back in the tournament.
Yeah, it's tourney season. It's on once again. We're already on our like third or fourth stream now, and yeah, it's time to get these matches underway and all that. Man,
Absolutely. And before we get started here, I'd like to give a special congratulations to Joey Mittens, who is currently in the tournament right now. He recently became the 36th member of the Sub 6 Club in Easy Percent with a 549. So a big jump on the leaderboard to him. So congratulations to Joey Mittens to getting a 549. So get your GGs in chat for him. A very impressive run.
yeah, that is great. Another sub six, 36 one, and yeah, apparently he had a little mishap with that run too, where he forgot to kill a shrapnel, so he could have
Yeah.
actually PB'd by another 10 seconds.
Yeah, he would have been about a
Um,
540, 541, might have broken Deller's PB back in that second tournament. But you know what? That means he's got a lot of room to save. We could see him climb up that leaderboard some more. But yes, basically, if you don't know what we're talking about, a few tournaments ago, I think it was 40 Watt Range who had a similar situation in the tournament where he forgot to kill one of the shrapnels and it cost him the match. It was very brutal.
yeah, it can happen if you're excited about like getting a crazy metoid or whatever it may be.
All right, looks like both runners are ready. I'm just going to get confirmation here, and then we're going to count them down.
Yeah, so we are going to have Real Zero up against Prince Leaf. And yeah, I didn't actually realize Zero and Leaf were so close next on the seeding, 8 and 9. And yeah, so this should be a great match. Obviously, Leaf been in the tournament for a many years. I'm sure probably 7 or something.
Yep.
It is the ninth annual tournament after, which means that's 9 years of Smash TV. What the heck?
Oh, I know. Yeah, their PBs are very close. You've got Prince Leaf with a 523. Real Zero, one of the 7 members of the Sub 520 Club, has a 519.3. Good for 6th place on the leaderboard, which he got about a month ago. So congratulations to Real Zero on that accomplishment. So it looks like both runners are trying to do the orb manipulation here, Aquas. They're camping out at that north door here and trying to set up that opening orb in collect power-ups. And you're going to see very similar times from both runners coming out because they're going to be doing that manipulation. They're both going to have about a 41-second time going to collect power-ups, and they're hoping they can get that orb spawned right on their feet.
Oh yeah, yeah. The manip so nice. So we're gonna see an orb here, neither player.
Nope, didn't look like they got it, but they both do get a spreader drop, so that'll keep them level pegging here at the start. Real Zero, though, is fishing for drops. And look at this, Leaf, the first one to get an orb, so off to a good start here. But here's Real Zero with the Vitamin R, the rockets. It should carry him through the rest of the room, and if that doesn't, those rockets certainly will. So even though Leaf got the orb drop, the quality of weapons favoring Zero, and because of it, it's still a pretty close game, about a second lead going into Eat My Shrapnel.
Yeah, so you're gonna carry those rockets into the next room here. That helps clear the shrapnel, and just great for stabilizing there. And Leaf just has to avoid dropping that orb in the beginning, which he does just fine.
Oh, but he got sabotaged with grenades on the feet. Not going to hurt him that much in this room here. 18 of the Mr. Shrapnels you have to take out, but no more than 4 can be out of the room at any given point. You start to bleed time if you're starting to see 4 in the room. So I don't expect any of these runners to get overwhelmed, but Zero still does not have an orb. Luckily, the rockets have propelled him through this room, so he's not going to lose any time on Leaf. He'll still be about a second lead for Prince Leaf exiting that room. Actually gained a little bit because that last Mr. Shrapnel was right at the door for Zero, but he needs to see an orb or he's going to really be bleeding time.
Yeah, hopefully we see that aura, but we're just seeing dudes and death for now.
Oh no, running right into the foot soldier there. So that's going to cost TheRealZ3ro some time there. That's going to decrease that kill count here. Leaf, though, meanwhile, gets a razor shield. So he'll be able to keep control of the middle of this room and keep those firing lanes crisp to get the maximum kill count. He'd like to get some weapons to complement that razor shield to expedite it a little more, but he can do without it here. TheRealZ3ro, though, meanwhile, struggling here. Might be having some game one jitters. Also, might be having some desperation, just not seeing the quality weapon drops here in Total Carnage.
Yeah, he's not getting much for drops. And there's his orb, so at least that's something.
And that'll stop the bleeding, but the damage might already be done here as Prince Leaf is out of Total Carnage at 3:06. That is a very solid time in tournament play here. TheRealZ3ro needs to make sure he keeps this orb healthy. Spreader will help him finish out that room, and despite the troubles that he had, he's only down by 11 seconds, and he does have a little bit of clip of Spreader to take with him into tank trouble, so he's in position to at least stay in the running, Aquas.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he manages with this. Here's Leaf coming into tank trouble. Going for the gunner, and then he's got a dude down there just gonna have to fend off the guys while he negotiates the situation. But a nuke comes and saves the day, and that'll allow him to get the two gunners and resume.
Very good indeed. Yeah, that nuke coming in handy and then gets rewarded with some vitamin R. TheRealZ3ro also gets a dude, so he too is going to have to do some dancing here. So right now the advantage to Leaf, but here comes a razor shield for Zero, able to get back into the room. It will protect him, so that is going to be nice. He still has that gunner that he has to deal with. He needs to take that down before that razor shield completely melts. He's got a few shots left to go on him and does finally take him down. Leaf, meanwhile, doing a good job keeping control of the middle of that room and finishes it off a very good time of 4:18. TheRealZ3ro gets some vitamin R drops, and he's got some more rocket drops coming his way. So he is going to gain a second. He's now at a 4:27 into the Mutoid Man fight. So the quality of weapons, even Steven, you'll love to see it.
Yeah, he got helped out with the weapons there, and Prince Leaf taking out the gunners and gets the ball buster.
Yep, does get that 42% of form of damage with a successful ball buster. TheRealZ3ro, though, misses his ball buster, and look at Leaf getting a spreader drop. Now he can really maximize on the damage.
And he got inside a little bit too.
Yep,
That can actually give you extra critical damage.
Yep, that's right. That extra critical damage. We do have a glitch toid on Leafs and gets a spreader. Can't die for this one, so he'll have to go manuals here, which is tough to do. If you can get him pinned to the wall like this, you can get some shots. We can see some shots. He's already on the penultimate form here, so got some decent manuals out of that. He now's got some rockets. As the second arm pops off for Zero, he's going to need to see a spreader here, or Leaf is going to take game number one.
Yeah, Leaf just had a nice series of events there, and he's on the final form. Meanwhile, Zero is getting lobbers.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good drop and all, but when you're that many forms down, that's just not enough. And Leaf with this lobber with good firing should finish up. Needs one more drop. Watch out for that mine. We call it a leafed it for a reason. He didn't leaf it that time, and it's going to be a sub-6 for the opener on Prince Leaf. Great start.
Love to see the sub-6 to start out for sure, and yeah. Zero just didn't quite get the drops, but that is Smash TV for you.
Yeah, I mean, he got off to a rough start. You can maybe assess that to, tournament jitters here or whatever. But, he played the rest of that arena solid, and he was still in position. He was only about 10 seconds back of Leaf going into the Mutoid Man fight. But that timely spreader in a good location for Leaf, that's what did it for him, and that's what won him this game. But TheRealZ3ro, he definitely played well enough that he could have won this game, just did not get the Mutoid Man RNG.
Yeah, for sure. And there goes Mutoid Man spilling out the emotes, the little emote heads for some reason or another.
Right.
It's funny to me.
So it's going to end up being about a 640, 641 for Zero. So it'll be about a 46-second win for Prince Leaf. So, yeah, definitely got the better Mutoid Man fight, got the better drops. I mean, TheRealZ3ro, he played it as well as he could given the situation. Just hopefully for his sake, he gets lucky in game number 2 so we can at least see a 4th.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, Leaf looking like he usually does in these tournaments. Played pretty solid, so nice to see. And Zero, he was kind of one of the newer guys that came in last 2 or 3 years, I think, now. or 2 years. But yeah, it's cool to see that he's now like kind of the same skill echelon as Leaf. So um, nice to see this tournament heating up. Even though we didn't get all 32 people signed up, we actually have some buys for some of the players, including myself. But the show must go on. We will do the 9th annual regardless.
Absolutely, we will, and we're going to get both of these runners ready to go here. I'm still waiting on one of the runners. Now both of the runners are ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and count them down, and we'll see if TheRealZ3ro can equalize this match.
Yeah, it's been a while since I have not been practicing personally, so I kind of forgot how the manipulation goes. But I did learn the manip. I'm gonna have to readjust on that, but I forget all the little things you need to see. It's a lot of stuff you gotta do to do it.
Oh,
You
it
gotta,
definitely
yeah.
is. I mean, these runners make it look extremely easy, but trust us, folks, it is anything but easy here. But I'll tell you what, if anybody can figure out, it's Aquas here. I mean, when it comes to video games, I mean, you're one of the best in the business for a reason. We'll see if you can put that to use and get that manipulation going for your match. But anyways, it's game number 2 for TheRealZ3ro, looking to even this up at 1 game apiece. Prince Leaf trying to take a 2-0 lead. They're both, again, trying to do the manipulation here. We'll see. It's probably going to be a better shot for Leaf because TheRealZ3ro is going to lose some time here. So we'll see how this plays out here as he's got about a 2-second lead going into collect power-ups, and they're already telling me that Leaf didn't get it. We'll see if TheRealZ3ro ended up getting it. Yeah, got the nuke too early, so that it's not going to be neither player getting the manipulation. A foot back-to-back feet now for TheRealZ3ro, so neither player really getting any drops early on, Aquas.
Yeah, oh, there's the orb for Leaf, so it's gonna fend off those soldiers with the grenade and grab that. Meanwhile, Zero not getting much vulnerability. Yeah, just run into some groups of dudes if possible. Get the next drop. Leave with the rockets.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh, he
buddy
loses the
dropped
orb
his
late in
orb.
the, and
Oh
then
god.
takes a death. A critical mistake there for Leaf early on, and because of that, it's going to be close to even going into Eat My Shrapnel. In fact, it's exactly even. No weapon, no orb. A big mistake for the veteran right there. Yikes.
The wombo combo.
All right. Meanwhile,
Also, when it
TheRealZ3ro having
rains,
a
it pours.
TheRealZ3ro. Oh, how he did not get taken down by that swirl there. I'll never know. He made a good dodge there. And now Zero picking up an orb here and taking an early advantage. Rockets, though, for Leaf will keep him afloat. Should be able to take down the rest of this room. He might grab the spreaders if he wants a little bit of insurance here, which he is going to do right now. He'll use that to take down the rest of the Mr. Shrapnels. Now, we'll see who comes out with the lead here, because I know there was 4 of those Mr. Shrapnels on the room for both, and it is about a TheRealZ3ro quarter, maybe half a second lead, so very close. But Leaf, now it's his turn to find the orb, Aquas.
The tables have turned, and he's gonna fight for these rockets. Meanwhile, Shrapnel trying to snipe him away from that, but he sees it.
He did see it, but I'll tell you what, you saw where those rockets were. That trap was firmly set. This game knows, Aquas, about Prince Leaf's history of running into that mine.
Oh yeah, that's right. It spawned right over there. That is like the Leaf mine, isn't it?
That is the Leaf mine right there.
The far
Absolutely.
right one, yeah.
Yes, it is.
The power-ups can perfectly cover the mines up, and that's why that gets people, because they forget that the mines are there when they cover up. And
hey, there's finally the ore for Leaf. We'll see what the damage ends up being. Rockets will help him finish up this room here, but it is going to be a TheRealZ3ro lead going into tank trouble, but not by much. 310 plays a 312 with the 2-second lead for TheRealZ3ro. I think it's time for Taco Bell product placement with Taco Bell. You got that right, Aqua. So 2-second lead. Neither player has a weapon to take into total carnage, so pretty much the same story. I know TheRealZ3ro, he had a little bit of spreader in that first game. Neither player is going to have a weapon this time, so this first drop could be crucial for both of our runners here. TheRealZ3ro gets a nuke. That's good.
Nuke.
versus a
Almost
foot.
got sniped.
Yeah, he very nearly got picked off there. That could have been disastrous for RealZ3ro. So Leaf
uh,
loses the orb
Speaking of
and runs
disaster,
right into the swarmers right there. Nothing he could do about that one. So RealZ3ro is going to build that lead unless Leaf gets some drops or if RealZ3ro drops his orb. But Zero's doing a lot of dancing here. He's having trouble keeping control of the middle here. The spreader should help him though.
oh yeah, he'll get control. Then he'll sequence that into the nuke when the guys start to get too crowded. Just oh no, doesn't bother.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't grab that nuke because, it could have
Yeah,
given him a little bit of breathing. There you
look what
go.
just happened.
Exactly, Aquas. A mistake right there that could potentially cost him some time. He's still going to come out of this room with the lead because Leaf does not get a replacement orb, nor does he get any good weapons to help him carry through. So no ball buster attempt for Zero. It's a 431. Leaf is not going to be pleased about how he played this tank trouble. I mean, he's still going to be in the running here, but he's going to be about roughly 20 seconds behind, a little less than 20 seconds behind. It's going to be a 16-second lead. Lobbers to start for Zero, but he's picked up by the laser eyes.
Okay, not too. Oh well, he didn't get those lobbers. So yeah, I was gonna
Oh.
say not too bad if he gets those again, but and then
Well,
he gets more lobbers.
luckily for him, the game decides to give him some mercy and more
And
lobbers.
more.
Lobbers for days for Zero. Here's grenades for Leaf. He'll focus on trying to get the gunners off, which he does. And then Leaf gets run over. He's hoping for a spreader here. So
Spreader on Zero's feet, and Leaf just hitting the neck. Oh
he
yeah.
got
Oh
in the
hey,
vulnerability to go with
vulnerability. Let's
it.
go.
Yes, so
That's huge.
now the tables have turned for Zero in terms of the Mutoid. He's got the glitch toy man. He's got the lead right now as Leaf finally pops that first arm. But Zero right now with a good lead. Leaf is going to need to see a spreader if he wants that 2-0 lead. Penultimate form now for Zero.
This is looking like the straight role reversal from last game right now.
It most certainly is. It was Leaf that had the roughly double-digit lead going into the Mutoid Man fight. This time it's Zero who had a 16-second lead. It's looking like this is going to stick unless we see some final form shenanigans here on Zero's side. And he's parked on that rocket. But does manage to get it. It's looking like the writing is on the wall here for Zero to take game number 2 unless something very bizarre happens. These lobbers should do it, but he's missing a lot of shots here, Aquas. Needs to... Oh, he misses the spreader. I think he was trying to get the more accurate firing here. Leaf is now on the penultimate form, but it's going to be too little too late as Zero is about to finish him off. There it is. Zero takes game number 2, and we have a best of 3 situation, Aquas.
Yeah, then Leaf getting his own spreader at the end, but sorry, you're too late.
Yep, got the spreader that he needed to get the transfer damage as well. So he's actually going to gain a little bit of time on Zero at the end of it all. But yep, too little, too late. That deficit put him behind the 8 ball. 632 plays a 647. So he actually gained about a second on RealZ3ro thanks to that final spreader there. But yep, the damage was done in that tank trouble. That's what cost Leaf this race.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, that all spiraled down out of control for Leaf after that. And in theory, it manipulated the bad RNG too.
Yeah, that's true indeed. So we are 1-1 here. I will let these runners know.
Of course, the RNG is always changing in Smash TV, so you can never really predict what's going to be going on. But it's fun to say that, yeah, it's just like, well, he died there, and then this happened, so that's why it happened. It's it's like a butterfly effect type of deal.
All right, we'll see if both of these runners are ready for game number 3, a crucial game number 3 coming up between Leaf and Zero. Whoever wins this will have 2 opportunities to take home the match and move on to the next round of the winner's bracket. Let's talk about that for just a moment while we're waiting for both these runners to get ready here. So the winner of this match, this is Zero and Leaf, will take on the winner of Brysolf and Firebroth. And if Leaf were to win this, we potentially could have a rematch of the match that spawned the Immaculate Spreader for Brysolf. We'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. Obviously, RealZ3ro would love to pull it off and get to his next round of the winner's bracket.
Yeah, is that Immaculate Spreader? Is that like a 520 time or something that Brysolf did one time? Or I'm not sure what
Immaculate
that is.
Spreader is the term that I came up, meaning your opponent has a big lead, but you get the spreader of spreaders that helps you come all the way back.
Oh, okay.
All right, both runners are ready. I've just counted them down here. Yeah, Leafs tell me that he lost it in collect power-ups, and while he had made a mistake on that one, remember it was only a 2-second match going into the bonus room there. So even though he had a rough start, he was still very much in the game. But the tank trouble did him in. So. I mean, you could point at one thing here, one thing there, but in the end of it all, we are tied at 1-1. Big game number 3 right here.
Oh, yeah. Best of 5 turns into a best of 3. Thank you, TapTOJ. That is true.
Yep, that's exactly right. I kind of got that terminology from watching the classic Tetris World Championships, where you have these best of 5 matches, and the commentators will go, "What was once a best of 5 match is now a best of 3."
Oh, really? Nice.
Absolutely. Any event, it is time for collect power-ups. I don't think we got the manipulation correct. Oh, my grenades on the feet there for Leaf, and a razor shield for TheRealZ3ro. So we're 0 for 3 on both sides on the manipulation. So some of the runners who make it look real easy, they're good at doing it for a reason. So both of these runners have tried it, but it's a lot harder than it looks,
I mean,
Aquas.
it's like remembering like 15 things and then executing it.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But however, while we were talking about that, Aquas, for the 3rd consecutive match, Leaf has the first orb. In fact, he's going to have quite a substantial lead going into Eat My Shrapnel, about a 124. As TheRealZ3ro using grenades to finish off this room, he's going to be about 5.5 seconds back for TheRealZ3ro, so he needs to see an orb here soon. Leaf has a razor shield, so he shouldn't have to worry about the rest of this room, especially when he's got rockets to go with it.
Yeah, Zero started out with a key. He gets a razor shield. That's gonna help. That's gonna help him focus on the shrapnels a little bit more.
Now, the problem is he's let 4 get into the room, so he's going to be bleeding some time here. He needs to see some good quality weapons, or he needs to see this orb, or he could be back double-digit seconds. He needs to see these quality of weapons, and he's getting absolute garbage here in Eat My Shrapnel, and this is going to put him behind the 8 ball. He gets a razor shield. I mean, it's something, but he needs more, because Prince Leaf right now enters at about a 207. Zero still has not seen weapons. Finally, it's the end of the room, but he's bled some more time. He's about 10 seconds back now, Aquas. He needs to see that orb, and he needs to see it right now.
Yeah, I mean, Leaf getting some rockets, so that's going to propel him forward another few
There you go.
Here, but there's Zero's orb.
Yep, he needed to see. Oh my goodness gracious! He used the orb to block that shrapnel. That could have been disastrous right there. But yeah, Leaf did get some rockets. No razor shield this time, like he's gotten in a couple of these games so far in this match. So he's gonna have to work for it a little bit. TheRealZ3ro does get some rockets. This could help cut into the time a little bit with good firing lanes.
Yeah, I don't think Leaf has gotten a rocket since his first one. So
no, he's gotten. Yeah, he's gotten garbage, so he's not really able to gain substantiality on there, but he still has a 3:01 to the bonus room, which is still a very solid time here. We'll see where TheRealZ3ro is going to sit at the end of this room. Is that the ending nuke right there? It is the ending nuke. Yeah, gets a 3:12, so he only lost a couple of seconds there. He's at a 3:12. It's an 11-second lead, and for the 2nd straight game, neither player has a weapon going into tank trouble.
That nuke saved him like 4 seconds. That was great.
Oh, it really did. That was a very timely nuke right there. That keeps him in the running. A great opener for Leaf. He's got a razor shield here. He'll be able to focus on the gunners right on the feet. Gets an invulnerability. Doesn't have to worry about the bullets. Has both gunners down. Invulnerability, again, that's going to help with the bullet dodging, but that's not going to be really much here. Gets a nuke, which could help, but he's doing a lot of dancing here as Zero finally gets to it. Wow.
That was bullet hell right there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've played your fair share of bullet hell games to know what that's like.
Yeah, he had stuff from all directions, then the nuke just at the last moment.
And nice dodging.
Like a good bomb and a shmup.
Couple good nukes there. He's back to gain control in the middle, but I think it's still going to be a substantial Leaf lead here going into the Mutoid Man fight. That was a solid tank trouble performance there. Much better performance there for Leaf. He's got a 4:14 into the Mutoid Man fight. Zero's doing all he can to keep himself afloat. He's done a terrific job keeping that orb healthy. He's just not gotten the weapons to help dent into Leaf's lead here. He's going to lose some time, but he's definitely in the running, 18 seconds back. Leaf's going to have to manual these spreaders here, but he's kind of not focused on it. He's trying to keep the orb healthy to try to get this ball buster going here, and it's going to be tough. Hard to tell from that angle.
He got it, because Mutoid Man shook. with Leaf.
There
That's
you
a good
go.
indicator
There's your tell right there. That first arm should be popping off. There it is. So Zero
Yeah,
also gets the ball buster.
nicely done. Nicely done.
Right, but he needs to get a weapon here to cut into this lead here. He gets a spreader.
Hey, that's gonna catch him up probably.
Yeah, this could potentially put him in the lead here if he can land some shots here. If he gets an invulnerability to go with that, it would really help him. Does have some lobbers, so if he wants to bail out, unfortunately
they're
gets
pretty much tied. Both arms went off on both sides.
Yeah, gets grenades, rockets for Leaf, so neither. There's another spreader for Zero.
He's trying to die for it. Oh, but then he didn't.
No,
But then there's one for Leaf, and he's
can he
gonna
get
try
to
to
it?
get
No, he's blocked.
way
He
too
won't
late.
get it. So neither player able to take advantage of that spreader right there. But Leaf does get lobbers.
There's another one.
He's gonna have to manual this one. He could not
Wow.
die for that one. He needs an invulnerability, and he's run over immediately. But he does have lobbers, so this is a neck and neck game here. A crucial, pivotal game number 3. Anybody's game right now. Where's the weapon for Leaf? Zero is now in the lead. There's the lobber. Oh, he's off. Oh no.
Oh no. I mean, what's the drop for Leaf? A grenade on the feet. That was a late grenade drop. Okay.
Rockets for Zero. They are both on the same 4 again. The weapon advantage back to Leaf here. He gets a spreader.
But I think he's gonna get that.
He will get that as long as he doesn't. There he's got it.
Zero on final form with rockets, but then the transfer damage probably on Leaf's side for sure.
Yeah, the transfer damage might see him through just
lobbers,
like it did in game number 2. He's got lobbers.
Yeah,
Leaf steals it. Oh my goodness
he
gracious. What a game.
Wow. The transferred.
Oh man, TheRealZ3ro. It looked like he was gonna make the comeback happen there, but that timely spreader that Leaf is so accustomed to seeing happen against him worked for him this time, and he turns a defeat into a 10-second win. What a game between those two.
I almost was, looking like maybe Zero's going to get that, but then, Leaf just got that great spreader and kind of the same time difference, similar time difference as it was before they entered the room. So there's no weird irony in that exactly. It just kind of shaped out as you would expect, I guess.
Definitely. I will let the runners know about that. We'll get set for game number 4 here. So it's going to be Prince Leaf on double match point.
Yep. So Zero's gonna have to fight back on this one a bit. Has to win the next one. That was a pretty fun one. The people are demanding a game 5 in the chat. Let's go.
Well, the way this match has been shaping up here, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a game number 5 here. I mean, the Mutoid Man luck in game number 1 went to Leaf. Mutoid Man luck was pretty even in game number 2, and then the Mutoid Man luck in game number 3 also went to Leaf. So Mutoid Man luck, it's going to have to favor Zero eventually, or it's going to be Leaf advancing to the 3rd round of the winner's bracket. Both runners are ready. I'm counting them down.
Yeah, I'd like to see maybe be cool if Zero got the manip and Leaf didn't, and then he could maybe rally that momentum into a win on this game. Just call it from there.
That would be something if TheRealZ3ro could pull off that manipulation, and then Prince Leaf would not be able to do so. I mean, anything is possible here. It is game number 4, a must-win for TheRealZ3ro if he wants to stay at the top half of the bracket. Again, both runners are trying for the manipulation here. We'll see if either one of them can pull it off. They are both currently 0 for 3 at this point.
Yeah, basically what you're doing is you're trying to kill a certain number of dudes on one side, and then you kill a certain number of dudes in the bottom, and then it's kind of like that kind of thing.
It doesn't look like Leaf got it. Zero might have gotten it. We'll find out what happens when we get to that room. It's going to be a small Prince Leaf lead going into collect power-ups here. I'm pretty sure Leaf did not get it. I mean, he could get lucky, get an orb drop first, but it doesn't look like either player got it. Again, 3Creepio is paying close attention here. Spreader to start for Zero, grenades for Leaf, so they are now 0 for 4.
All right, Zero with the foot, that'll supplement the spreader a little bit, and then he gets his orb. And
got it on the 3rd drop.
And getting clobbered.
Yeah, so Leaf having struggles in this room just like he did in game number 2, and it's going to put him behind the 8 ball once again. because TheRealZ3ro, you know, he's got the orb, had decent enough weapons. He's going to come out of there with a solid time of 1:22 into Eat My Shrapnel. These rockets will help Leaf mitigate the time loss, but he is going to be trailing with a 1:38 seconds.
Yeah.
Nice razor shield for TheRealZ3ro, helps protect him from the shrapnels and the swirls just then. So he should have good control of this room. And Leaf gets an orb of his own. So as long as he doesn't, you know, let the room get out of control, he'll still be behind by 8 seconds.
Oh yeah, they should have it under control at this point.
Nice rockets there for TheRealZ3ro to help him finish off this room. He's got one, maybe two of the Mr. Shrapnels left to go. That's the last one. He's got a 2:04 out the door. Leaf does not have rockets to finish the room, so he is actually going to lose a little bit more time. Not too much. He's now got a 9-second deficit on TheRealZ3ro thanks to the rocket ending there for TheRealZ3ro. So let's see what we get. A rocket opener for Leaf. That could help cut into this lead on TheRealZ3ro if he doesn't see some weapons. A spreader, that's decent. He'd like to see, of course, rockets. Oh, grenades on the feet. He did not see them. Oh.
Yeah. That's not grenades not doing too well. Thankfully, you can just empty the clip real quick with the orb, so whatever.
Yeah, but it just costs you your firing lanes there, and it, you know, it reduces your kill count. So, you know, every second counts in a crucial game like this for TheRealZ3ro. But luckily for him, there's a razor shield on the feet to end the room, and a razor shield for Leaf to end the room on both. I would imagine that Leaf has cut into this lead, but not enough to take the lead, in my opinion, as the room is done for TheRealZ3ro. He's going to have a 3 flat, the best time we have seen from TheRealZ3ro coming out of this room. And yeah, as I suspected, Leaf is going to gain a little bit of time, 2 seconds to be exact, at a 3:07. And again, no weapons for either player going into tank trouble. So again, that first drop in this room is going to be extra crucial for both runners.
All right, here we go. TheRealZ3ro entering the room, and he's going to target the top left gunner, get some good hits. And
not a good drop, unfortunately, though, for TheRealZ3ro. He gets
drop.
a dude. Let's see what Leaf gets. Invulnerability, so again, nothing special for either runner, so these runners are going to have to earn it. Leaf will take the invulnerability. Nuke will help him with one of the gunners here, so TheRealZ3ro's got one. Both of the gunners are now down for TheRealZ3ro. Leaf's going to have to do some dancing. He's got both gunners down, so now it's going to come down to who has the better firing lanes, who can keep control of the metal, who has the better quality of weapons. TheRealZ3ro is going to ignore that spreader. It's in a bad location. I certainly can't fault him for that decision. But then he loses the orb. Got a little too close to the purple swarmer there, and that could mean a lead change. But Leaf also lost his orb. They both get rockets, which is very helpful when you don't have an orb. TheRealZ3ro is going to keep his lead with a 4:16. Leaf, on the other hand, he's going to lose time here in this room.
All right, TheRealZ3ro gonna come ahead out of here with a bit of a lead, and yeah, Leaf just cleaning it up still.
13.5 seconds is the deficit for Leaf, but a key for TheRealZ3ro, and that is going to be a time penalty right there. He's taking the intentional death, hoping for a spreader. It's rockets instead. Leaf gets a spreader. He's going to take the intentional death. He's going to be more than happy to run into that mine.
There it is.
He still has to watch out for the gunners here because they are in play, and now,
yeah. Spreader? No, it's a grenade.
However, he has taken the lead thanks to that spreader here. But here's a spreader. That's a player 2 spreader if I've ever seen one, Aquas.
I would have died for it.
Yeah, I know you would have. Vulnerability, though, for Leaf, so he's going to be without a weapon for a little bit. TheRealZ3ro trying to get it's not working out for him, so he switches it up.
He needs something better.
Right. Leaf now is going to have the lead. He has got the better quality of weapons here. More lobbers. Now they both have lobbers here as Leaf grabbed the lobber right there. Now it's grenades, but yeah, you can see it's very close.
What?
A slim
I didn't think they were that close.
lead. Oh, but look at this. A spreader, but it could be blocked. It could be blocked. It's blocked.
Oh,
it's blocked.
Mother hen.
4, 3, 2, 1. Same level 4. My goodness. What a terrible time for a mother hen mutoid right there. He still somehow has the lead, though.
Not by much.
No, not by much at
gonna
all.
chain these lobbers. That's good for him.
But here's lobbers for Leaf. It's going to come down to who has better firing. It's Leaf who's on the final form right now, and he's got lobbers. Final form for TheRealZ3ro. TheRealZ3ro's winner's bracket is on the line. Leaf's missing some shots. He's got a spreader coming, the worst weapon you can have on the final form. TheRealZ3ro, that hitbox.
Yeah.
It didn't matter anyway. Leaf had this one. Oh, my goodness gracious. Leaf coming from behind again here and is going to take the match 3-1. Leaf is not going to be happy how he played that game number 2, but he did good enough. Mutoy Man was on his side practically all match, and it happened again here in game number 4.
Yeah, wow.
And it ends up being, yep, it was a 13.5 second deficit, and Leaf gained 29 seconds in that Mutoid Man fight, man. He just kept gaining and gaining and gaining every single Mutoid Man in that match. Tough break there for TheRealZ3ro. He definitely had a chance to win that one, but Mutoid Man just did not cooperate for him all match.
Yeah, I mean, he got a couple spreaders here and there, but whenever he got some spreaders, it seemed like Leaf just got one in return. Or an extra. Of course, Leaf is going to move on now, and Zero will be going into the second chance bracket.
Yep, that is correct. In the second chance bracket, he will be facing, I'm trying to figure out who he will be facing here. He'll be facing Superman in the second chance bracket. TheRealZ3ro. So again, not out of the tournament, but he will be going down to the second chance bracket. But yep, Leaf moving on will take on either Brysolve or Firebroth, and I believe that match is tomorrow, back right here on GG Speedrun. So he's not gonna have to wait long to find out who Leaf's opponent's gonna be in the next round of that winners bracket.
There we go. Back-to-back days of Smash TV action. That's what we love.
Absolutely. So there you go. We are scrolling through all the past champions of all the different tournaments throughout the past here on the Super Smash TV Easy Percent Tournament. We're going to take a break here while we get set up for game number 2. That one's going to be between the longtime veteran Sigma fan and Dildar, aka Bruce. We will have that match coming up for you in just a few minutes, so stick around. We will be right back.